Somebody's in big trouble because DC Studios just said, hold up, wait a minute. I thought we were finished. The gun's not jamming and they're ready to unload at Marvel Studios because we just got a whole lot of insane news about the sequel for story details and hints at who the main villain could be, some batshit crazy updates for the Batman Part 2, Peacemaker Season 2, and the potential return of some familiar faces in the DCU. And you know me, if I see some dots, I'm gonna make them connect because I get a brain blast. But either way, me and you know what we gotta do. We gotta talk about it. And is it a bird? Is it a plane? No. It's the head honcho of DC Studios, James Francis Gunn Jr. himself, giving us an insane update on the sequel for Superman, where first and foremost, he decided to call this Superman sequel a part of the Superman saga. He looked over at Matt Reeves calling his Batman universe the Batman Epic Crime Saga and said, I'll take that. But the crazy part is, he said he's already written a treatment and he's ready to start filming soon. Now, a treatment in layman's terms is just a watered down version of a screenplay, so they still gotta iron out like specific dialogue and scenes. So when he says he's hopeful to begin filming soon, I don't think that means anytime like soon, like within the next couple of months. I think maybe within the next year and a half. But you already know Superman fans like me alike are losing their minds trying to figure out what this movie's gonna be about. And taking into account that James Gunn is calling this a Superman saga and David Zaslav, the CEO of Warner Brothers, calling it the Superman family movie, I've come to the conclusion that it's gotta be a team up between Supergirl, Superman, and Krypto. I mean, I feel like that just makes the most sense. This is the Superman saga, quote unquote. This is our current Superman family. And honestly, from the little bit we got of Supergirl at the end of Superman, I'm excited to see how this relationship and dynamic works because she's clearly going through some things. She's gonna go through some things in her Supergirl movie. And just a little bit we got of like that brotherly, sisterly dynamic that we got with her calling him a bitch. And of course, Superman, like he's gonna get rage baited, but he's not gonna respond because he's a respectful human being. That's his greatest strength. And the crazy thing is, we got our biggest tease yet on what the film about Supergirl, Superman, and Krypto could potentially be about. And it's all thanks to those behind the scenes videos we've been getting of the production of Superman. We had James Gunn pointing at David Cornsweet like Draymond pointing at KD. And some eagle-eyed fans, myself included, noticed this drawing of what looks like some type of storyboard concept art, like chicken scratch style. And it features our Superman family, members of the Superman saga in Supergirl, Superman, Krypto. But I know that ain't who I think it is. Because if we hit that zoom in hands and take a look at this noggin, is that the 5-head alien artificial intelligence himself, Brainiac? Maybe, potentially. It does kind of look familiar to Brainiac. And Brainiac does feel like a logical next step for this version of Superman, because I feel like he's got something to do with that Kryptonian message. And we also got to learn more about the Kryptonian heritage and if Superman's parents, Jor-El, are actually evil. A popular theory that I've been seeing floating around, I'm not sure where it originated, but it's not mine, is that potentially Brainiac is the one that manipulated the message from Jor-El. For some reason, I don't know, he's an artificial intelligence. If he sees Superman as a threat and all Kryptonians as a threat, this could be his way of trying to get them exterminated. Either way, the next film in the Superman saga feels like it's got to be connected to whatever the hell happened on Krypton and what the truth is. And if Brainiac does become the villain, I really hope he's like an overarching villain, similar to the way he was in the animated show, because he wasn't just a villain of the week type shit. He was like a grand scheme overarching villain. And I'm hoping and praying that he does end up having that type of trajectory in the new DC universe. And as for who could play Brainiac in the DCU, I don't really care. Fuck it. Let's give Mark Strong another try at a DC villain. Maybe third time's the charm? Fourth time? How many fucking DC characters does he play? He was Sinestro, so he'd be going from red to green. Dr. Siva from Shazam, and he was the recasted version of Carmine Falcone. But regardless, I need that sequel for Superman more than I need air. While we're on the subject of Superman, it's coming to digital platforms already on August 15th, which feels kind of crazy. I feel like you would want to have it out in theaters to make as much money as possible. But James Gunn just recently said the reason that they had Superman come out a couple weeks earlier was so that everyone or most people had a chance to watch Superman, which is key and integral to Peacemaker Season 2. So they have that bit of context going into the new season. James said, I originally thought Peacemaker was going to be coming out next month. There was a lot of things that are beyond our control, so that Peacemaker is coming out now. And at the end of the day, I wanted everyone to be able to see Superman that wanted to, even those people who couldn't get to theater before Peacemaker. And you know, from a creative decision, I respect that decision. From a business perspective, kind of dumb. But regardless, Superman ended up being a success, not a huge, massive one, but a success nonetheless. And if there is going to be a lot of fallout from Superman going into Peacemaker Season 2, I mean, we already know the Justice Gang is going to be in there. It is nice that you'd be able to watch Superman before you watch Peacemaker Season 2 at the fingertips. But while we're on the subject of Peacemaker, James Gunn was asked if he could potentially get his own DCU movie. James Gunn said, I actually know the answer, and I'm not at liberty to say under penalty of the saffron punishment, which is a loss of my knuckle. Which basically, to me, says, yes, we're making a movie that has Peacemaker in it. Because you could have just said no comment, but the fact that you said, I know the answer, but I'm not allowed to say, that's a yes. And I feel like this is always the case. James Gunn has spoken ad nauseum about how Peacemaker is the favorite project that he's ever worked on, and you can feel it with as much as he promotes Peacemaker. I mean, shit, he was already in Superman. But James Gunn was also asked about some fan favorite characters from his Suicide Squad movie, which is Peacemaker adjacent. He was specifically asked if Margot Robbie could potentially be reprising her role as Harley Quinn in the DCU, and all he had to say is that will be revealed down the line. Hey man, and I think I speak for everyone involved, if we don't get her back, you don't get me back. Especially after the big success that Barbie was, you'd be stupid not to have her return. But James Gunn was also asked about potentially having Idris Elba reprise his role as Bloodsport in the DCU, to which he said, I'm always trying to figure out a way to bring back Bloodsport in the DCU some way, somehow. We just gotta wait and see. I love Idris Elba. I love what he did with Bloodsport. Please find a way to make this happen. Can we get a flashback to him shooting Superman with the kryptonite bullet? I selfishly just need to see that visually. And again, this is one that I can almost guarantee will happen. But let's move on over to all the Batman Part 2 news because we got a lot. So obviously, a couple of days ago, it was reported that Robin could potentially be appearing in the Batman Part 2. And it's being said that this film is still dark as the first one, but it's going to be taking some big swings. And Matt Reeves and Mattson Tomlin are really going for it, whatever that means. And this was reported by industry insider Jeff Snyder, which a lot of people just immediately brush to the side like he hasn't gotten shit right in the past. Which, I mean, yeah, the batting average could be low, but he's gotten a lot of things right too. I'm pretty sure he was the one that had Robert Downey Jr. returning as Dr. Doom in the MCU before anybody else did. And he's not the only one saying that Robin could be in the Batman Part 2 because we also got Grace Randolph saying this shit too. Now, of course, James Gunn did take to social media to shut these rumors down by saying, guys, please stop believing this nonsense. I think 6 of us have read the script. No one knows anything about the Batman 2. Which, you know, if I was a gullible person that doesn't think critically, I could just take this as, oh, there we go, James Gunn just shut down someone else. But why would he word it like this specifically? He could have just simply said, no, Robin is not in the Batman Part 2. Or he could have just ignored it like he should be doing all the time as the head of DC Studios. What are we doing? But I find it interesting that he said only 6 of us have read the script because a couple days ago he said only 4 of us have read the script. So how many people have read the script, James? And if you seriously think only 6 people have read this script, the way people would be talking in Hollywood, I'm sorry, you'd be naive not to at least question what James Gunn got going on here. Now, obviously, I'd be all for having Robin in the Batman Part 2 because, listen, you can't have Batman without Robin. They're synonymous with each other. And it's finally time for us to get a true Bat family on a big screen. I'm tired of this, Grandpa. I don't care what you think about Schumacher's films. But the interesting thing about this is if it's true, I feel like this could undercut Batman Brave and the Bold, which, you know, is supposed to feature Damian Wayne. So yeah, they are 2 different Robins, but you're gonna get a Batman and a Robin concurrently in the DC universe? I don't know. And until we actually see definitive proof that he is not gonna join the DC universe, you're gonna get people saying that Robert Pattinson, the Battinson, is gonna be joining the DCU. And if Robin is really in his movie, that just adds more fuel to the fire that the Batman Part 2 might be titled The Batman Brave and the Bold. And the way he's answering questions about this is like, it's just very gray area. Not a definitive no, not a definitive yes. And I'm at the point where I don't give a shit if Pattinson joins the DCU or not. I just give me a Bat family. I don't give a fuck who gives it to me. But on top of that, Hush keeps getting rumored as one of the villains that could potentially be appearing in the Batman Part 2, which, you know, I don't know if I want to kind of retread that. It feels very similar to what Riddler did in the first movie, but again, grain of salt shit. But people that we know are for sure going to be in the Batman Part 2, like Jeffrey Wright, who plays Jim Gordon, says that he's really excited to see what Matt Reeves cooked up with the Batman Part 2. And even Kristen Milioti, who plays Sofia Gigante, formerly Sofia Falcone, says it would be great to see her team up with her half-sister and Selena Kyle, Catwoman. And yeah, I'm not going to hold you. I need that more than air. But you know what I need more than air? Mattson Tomlin? Matt Reeves? Show me their moms. Where their moms at, Matt? Where their moms at, man? Well, finally, we got a little bit of news about My Adventures with Green Lantern. In case you didn't know, this is a new animated show similar to My Adventures with Superman. It's going to be featuring Jessica Cruz, but also Kyle Rayner, my guy. Cast me in live action, James, please. Nikki Jones, Kilowog, and more. And apparently, Kyle Rayner is going to serve as Jessica Cruz' love interest. Very interesting things. But also, just a reminder, this isn't set in the DC universe. This is its own separate entity. So these people will not be transitioning to live action. But regardless, that's all the new news and updates we got about the DCU, Superman, Batman, all that. Let me know what you think about my thoughts, theories, and opinions down in the comments below. And as always, like and follow for more.